Okay, so our question comes from section 8.3, number 50, on page 565 of your textbook. The directions read that we want to determine whether the graphs of each pair of equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither parallel nor perpendicular. One thing that you want to be aware of when approaching this problem is that you don't actually have to physically graph them. We want to recall what we remember about our equations, or what we recall about slopes. So if you have parallel slopes, that means they have the same slope. If we have perpendicular slopes, that means that slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. Alright, so basically what we want to do is we want to figure out, well, what's the best way to reveal what these slopes are by just looking at the equations instead of taking the time to plot them out. Because even with the human eye, we could very well make a mistake. So what I want you to note here is for this y is equal to 1/2 x. This is already in slope-intercept form. If you need to see it, your y-intercept just so happens to be 0. So I know that the slope here is equal to 1/2. So all of my attention can now be focused on what's happening with this 3x plus 6y is equal to 1. My goal is to get it into that y equals mx plus b, or slope-intercept form. So basically, all I'm going to do is what I've usually done in the past, and I'm going to isolate y to get to just one side of the equation. So the easiest thing that I can do first is to remove a 3x from both sides of the equation, and that whittles down that left-hand side to just leave me with 6y is equal to a negative 3x plus 1. And then from here, we want to divide both sides by 6. And bear in mind that when you divide that 6 on the right-hand side, you want to divide each term by a 6. So we would have, this would reduce down to a negative 1/2 x plus 1/6. So again, I'm only concerned about the slope here. And so the slope here is going to be equal to negative 1/2. So let's compare our two slopes. We have a slope of negative 1/2, and we have a slope of 1/2. Okay, so do we have parallel slopes? Are they exactly the same? No, because one is positive 1/2 and the other is negative 1/2. The next question that we can ask is, well, are they perpendicular slopes? Well, while it's true that they are opposites, one is positive and one is negative, they are not reciprocals of each other. So in this case, we don't have a perpendicular slope either. So in this case, the two slopes that you are looking at, these are neither parallel or perpendicular.